Today we're going to be taking a look at the MM720, which is a really unique shape from Cooler Master. Comes in a box that's barely bigger than the mouse itself. And as you can see, this is not even remotely a conventional shape at all, which I would generally say would make it like not a very safe shape, but I have a hard time thinking that a lot of people are going to think that this is uncomfortable. Like, you might just not prefer the shape, but it's definitely, and like kind of surprisingly, extremely comfortable. Obviously, what's unique about this mouse is this crazy ring finger rest. It's got basically an extra third added onto it so that you can comfortably rest your ring finger. I claw the mouse basically just like this, and I find the shape super comfortable because it gives you a spot for your ring finger and little finger to sit, which makes clawing or fingertipping this mouse super, super easy. If you have like really tiny hands, like I guess you could palm it, but I use it in claw basically just like this, and it's extremely comfortable. After you get used to using a mouse with this ring finger rest, it actually makes every other mouse feel really weird once you go back to it. So you definitely get used to it faster than you think. And here's a quick shape comparison against an XM1, Viper Mini, and a G Pro wireless. As far as like the mouse and the build go, it comes with a really good stock cable, which if you had an MM710, you should know how this cable goes, but it's pretty flexible, very good stock paracord. I didn't bother paracording it. I really don't think you need to. I think that this cable's good enough. Got a little bit twisted in multiple spots, so there's definitely a little something to be desired when it comes to the stock paracord, but I'm fine with it considering how flexible it was. I'm willing to overlook sort of like the twists that are unfortunately present in the length of the cable. It's got optical switches, which I think is a first for Cooler Master. They don't feel super great, but they definitely don't feel horrible. Like, I was fine with it once you got used to it and once you're actually using it. But if you're just kind of testing the switches, they're not great. Here's a sound test. Not super tactile, but I was totally fine with them. Also, there's almost no button wobble on the two main clicks, pretty much the minimum amount required for separated shell design, and that's basically it. I was a little skeptical when it came to the build quality, considering what happened with the MM710, but this mouse I've really had no problems with. Like, the clicks, there's a little bit of pre-travel, a little bit of post-travel, but nothing that bothers you when actually using it. This mouse is also incredibly light, which for the weird shape makes it seem even lighter because it's so wide. So it comes in at 51.6 grams on my scale, and for being such a wide shape, it actually feels so light because it's not dense at all. This feels really light compared to something like the Vaxi mouse, which feels heavier than it actually is because it's dense, it's small and solid, whereas this feels really big and almost like hollow and empty, but kind of in a good way. As far as the coating goes, I got the gloss white just because it was the one that would ship to me the fastest on Amazon. I would not recommend the gloss coating. Like, I really don't like it. If you like gloss, go with gloss, but otherwise I would definitely stick with the matte coating. The scroll wheel is a little noisy and seems a little generic or cheap, but in game it was fine. So my main gripe with this mouse is these side buttons. As you can see, there's like this ledge on it, which I don't know why you would sort of partition them like that. I would have really preferred if they were part of the side of the mouse, because as a Fortnite gamer, I'm always using the side buttons, and it definitely took a little while to get used to. It was fine once you got used to it, but it's definitely not optimal to have to really move your thumb like up over this ledge to get to the side buttons. Even if this ledge wasn't here and the buttons were just kind of tapered in, that would be better, but just regular standard side buttons would have been much preferred in my opinion. The side buttons themselves have a little bit of pre-travel, a little bit of post-travel, but they're totally fine in game. Another thing that wasn't super great is these feet. You have this big giant skate up front and this kind of smaller one out back. The edges seemed really sharp, like they're not rounded or something. It sort of felt a little snaggy in use. If you're particular about your mouse feet, this is definitely a contender for aftermarket feet. I found them just fine, but they weren't great. Here's a full sound test of everything. Just like every other mouse, this mouse has software. It lets you customize the lights and lets you rebind buttons and do all sorts of stuff like that. It's totally fine, not great, nothing special, but worth mentioning, I guess. As far as my actual thoughts about this mouse, it's kind of crazy, but I actually really like it. I think that the shape is super unique, and anyone who says that it's not like a competitive shape, I think is kind of full of shit, because you can basically get used to and use anything you want. I find it incredibly comfortable, like really obnoxiously comfortable. I think like any mouse that you think is like ergo is not. It's just non-symmetrical, but this I feel like is actually like an ergonomic mouse. It actually feels like an ergonomic gaming mouse, whereas everything else I've used before this is like not. If you're at all interested in a mouse that's this crazy shape or you want to give it a try, I 1000% recommend trying this, because I was actually incredibly surprised by how much I truly like this shape and particularly this mouse. Like, I wish I didn't get the glossy. I wish I would have got matte, because that's what I'm used to, but the gloss color would just ship faster. I was really surprised by how much I liked it, and if you're on the fence or you're wanting to see what a mouse of this shape is like, definitely give it a try, because I think it's really unique and actually quite good. In summary, good cable, decent clicks, really unique and kind of comfortable shape, good QC, bad skates, a little bit iffy with the placement of the side buttons, but other than that, I think that this mouse definitely gets my seal of approval. If you're interested at all in trying something this crazy of a shape, I would definitely recommend giving it a shot, even just to see what it's like to have something with this extra side here. That's it for this one. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click the like button, and if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.